When you say like securing borders, well, if you're going to have a country, you're going to have borders. And perhaps you can apply the same mentality to something like if you're going to have a category for men's sports and women's sports, then how do you determine and define them? Otherwise, don't have categories for men and women's sports and everyone can do sport together and just the best athletes will be in the best teams and the best leagues or whatever. And I can see that. How do we ensure that you are more, it doesn't seem right to describe you as traditional Ted Nugent. You're an anomalous, peculiar and extraordinary man. I've never met anybody like you before. But some of your political views you might describe as traditional, i.e. the hunting and the shooting and the trapping and the a man's a man's, a woman's a woman's stuff. How do we square that with Christ's endless love and compassion? Because I do feel this, and I'd love to put this before both of you, that when he returns, that the firstborn among the dead, the great exemplar, he to whom we are all in eternal debt and to whom we owe our salvation. I feel like I know when he returns, they say he ain't going to come so meek and mild. He's going to come back a little more robust. But I reckon, too, that he's going to come in absolute love. And I reckon that he will, above all else, love the people of this world that may identify in ways that are outside of convention and tradition, whilst we know what he will believe about the categories and traditions, because it's in the holy books, it's in the scripture from Leviticus all the way to Revelation. There is enough, and right back to Genesis, of course, there are descriptions of what a man is, what family is, what our relationship to nature is. But I feel that this compassion and love of Christ must be brought to the forefront, i.e. where it says, truth we cannot let truth outrun love. I'd love to hear what you say about that. And also I'd like to say that there's something that you are a great example of that could really help bring about peace in your country and hopefully the world, is that you are an environmentalist. You are an ecologist. You love nature. You revere and honor nature. Now, how is it that that's been so long regarded as a perspective and purview of the left, even though the left often either regards the phenomena of Gaia in kind of shrieking and hysterical terms, and apocalyptic terms at that, or sometimes sees the earth solely as a resource rather than a kind of sibling and as part of our creation. I suppose sibling is a little pagan, but that we are custodians of the earth. So two little things there. One, the compassion of Christ applied to social justice issues, taking into account some of the common positions of the left. And two, do you see that there's an opportunity for reconciliation even when looking at your own passionate and zealous love for nature?
I think Shemaine is best equipped to do that because she's newer at it. I've been doing it since I was born in 1948. But when she married me, she saw my reverence for my role as steward. And she's now known as Queen of the Forest. And because of her genteelness, which I'm working on, she has inspired and recruited many, many heretofore anti-hunters, anti-nature, animal rights scam artists to realize that not just the diet, but the role that we play as stewards is our TV show. She's got a Queen of the Forest segment, and she references biblical references that support everything that we do.
I think it's really important. So on the two issues you talked about, social justice, are we for the man who is beating the heck out of the woman in a boxing match, or the woman who just wants to do the best she can do? I think we have to have truth and honesty involved in those discussions. That's one thing. So I'm for the woman. I want to protect the woman. And, we socially, we were talking about women's rights, my body, my choice. Well, what about that woman? What about Riley Gaines? I was a 2-time state champion swimmer. So I understand you work your butt off as hard as you can. You have one shot to make it. And a biological man, took that from Riley Gaines. Is that fair, Russell? I think that there is, maybe we have a transgender sporting events. I don't know. But I want to be for women, partially because I am a woman, and I want to support, women are the key to not only this country, but I believe our faith and Jesus Christ wants us to love one another no matter what our genders are. I have somebody very close to me, in my immediate family who is in a relationship with a transgender. That's okay. We talk all the time. That's their business, and we have our business. I do believe Christ wants us to love one another, love the person, hate the sin. And that's what we do. And I'll let Ted answer the other one. Oh, about being an environmentalist. Go ahead.
Well, bottom line is we just like to have an open communication. So, Russell, that you're here today with us, we only have like 20 seconds left.
We can go over.
But thank you so much for taking the time, because as you open that pretty little mouth of yours, every word that comes out makes logical sense. And it's not just a Russell Brand or a Ted or a Shemaine hunch or opinion. We are literally genuflecting at the altar of God's miraculous creation, acknowledging that it is miraculous and that he is miraculous. And Russell Brand, we look forward to sharing a real campfire with you ASAP. God bless you and yours and your truth, logic, and common sense Christianity.